If your budget isn't working, you might be missing one of these 7 things. Hi, I'm Ariel. I'm a stay-at-home mum living with my husband and our 2 children on a low income in New Zealand. And these are the changes that we made not just to survive, but thrive in 2025. I'll show you how we tithe when it feels impossible, how we slashed bills without sacrifice, and how we created margin when there was none, and you can do it too. One of the most paramount things is to stop believing you're in lack, even when that's what your bank account is telling you. I personally believe that while I was at home that we would have to endure this season of low income, but this led me into a scarcity mindset. Let me show you the perspectives that I've adopted to help me resolve this, to go from a place of constant stress to calming peace. This was the first and biggest shift that I had to make, which brings me to change number 1. Your mindset, moving from scarcity to stewardship. If you're a stay-at-home mum, sometimes it can feel like a setback financially, but it's not. It's a strategic savings strategy, and let me explain. Sometimes I would feel guilty for not financially contributing, but there's a real realization that happens when you realize that by managing your home like a CEO, you can save your home thousands of dollars and contribute in ways that are just not paid. It's about realizing you're not broke, you're just not being paid for the 6 jobs you're already doing. Once I realized I was saving us thousands of dollars from being at home, I stopped resenting it and started owning it. I had to stop seeing our tight budget as a prison and rather a test of stewardship. James 4 verse 7 says, "Submit yourselves then to God, resist the devil and he will flee from you." I submitted the fear, I submitted the doubt, and I replaced it with trust, strategy, and stewardship. Admittedly, all the conversations after the kids go to bed, how are we going to pay for this, how are we going to reach these savings goals, all that fear isn't from God. God doesn't give us a spirit of fear or timidity. He gives us a spirit of power, love, and self-discipline. So what we ended up doing was pivoting from the I'm stressed, how are we going to make this work, to submitting these things to God, and then the peace followed. Now here's a hard truth. You don't manage your money with emotion, you manage it with prayer and math. Now if you're feeling stuck, this next change will snap you out of survival mode. I learned this the hard way after I realized that we were overspending thousands on non-essentials out of stress. Let me show you how I fixed that and now manage to save and rein in weekly expenses through regular budgeting. I stopped relying on guesswork and got granular. As my husband's on wages, we do have a little bit of irregularity, so we built a buffer for that. I track it daily, we meet weekly, we discuss monthly so that nothing slips through. Here's a challenge. Pause this video, pull up the last week of your transactions and see how many of those expenses actually line up with your values. Here's a tip. If your budget feels too tight, it's not because you're bad with money. It's more likely that your system is just outdated. All you need to do is step back and fix the system. Okay, the next one I was a little bit skeptical about, but it gave us incredible breathing room. And this one change I learned the hard way when paying double for my power bill when I could have completely avoided it. Here's our one single rule we use to keep our power bills under control and within budget. This one is going to vary a little bit depending on the services that your power companies in your country provide. The power company that we are with have an on-peak and an off-peak service time. During the on-peak we're paying around 40 cents per kilowatt hour, and then for the off-peak we're paying about 28, so that's an extra 10-12 cents more. For 1 month we decided to run these big appliances only during off-peak hours, and we used more power but we spent less money. Another power saving hack that we use, which is a little bit more on the extreme side, we use a block blue light amber beacon and we pop it on the windowsill, turn all the lights off, and we enjoy this really nice ambient glow. And because it doesn't have blue light in it, it supports our circadian rhythm for sleep. This next one's also a little bit on the extreme side, but it's just going to bed an hour earlier. If you're going to bed at 10 p.m. instead of 11 p.m, you're going to save an hour of power for the day. That saves us around 365 hours of power per year, which is just over 2 weeks of having the lights on full time. What I really love about this change is it doesn't mean sacrificing your quality of life. It's just being wiser around the times when you do things. Okay, don't skip this next one. It's where 80% of our savings comes from. Stop focusing on the supermarket markup and focus on this one rule. After spending over $1,000 on groceries 1 week, I hit my turning point for change. This is where we saw the biggest return, moving from a weekly grocery spend to a monthly grocery spend. This is the wealth building habit most people ignore. It's not sexy, but it works. Now I think there's a lot of misconceptions around practicality of doing this. Do you need a lot of money to do this? And for us, we spent $50 a week building on the things that we use regularly, such as rice, oats, beans, honey. You don't actually need to have a business to get wholesale product pricing. You can join a co-op, you can build a co-op. If you do have a business number, you can use that. You can even bulk buy sprout seeds and grow them on your windowsill. Every single thing you do is going to contribute to make a bigger difference, and the more you buy in bulk, the more money you have freed up to then then buy the next thing, so you start this sort of chain of reaction. For example, we used to spend $60 per kilo on honey, and now we only pay $13 per kilo. We maintain monthly spends by using a weekly sinking fund. The budget that we're aiming for is $600 for groceries per month, so every week we'll put $150 aside. At the end of the month, we'll do our big shopping list, figure out what we need to buy, and use that $600. Not doing this next change might be the real reason your budget's not working. We removed the constant decision fatigue and put the system into place. We were always doing last minute runs to the shop, buying little treats here and there, and all those things add up. Here's how I implemented a system and boundaries that actually work. Here's a controversial hot take: most mums are meal planning wrong. They're stuck in Pinterest and not in their pantries. We create a weekly menu and set it on repeat for the whole month. 7 meals times 4 weeks equals 28 days, and the rest is just free space. Repeat meals equals less mental load and less money wasted. I build around these things, and we balance cost-effective meals with high-cost meals so everything balances out and we're not having bland, boring food every night. We meal plan monthly with a spreadsheet that prints out our shopping list, and it's all just done in minutes. I'll then take this shopping list, put it into ChatGPT to do costings to make sure that we're all within budget. Now, this next one might be controversial, but it changed everything for us. This is pretty common financial advice I've heard before, which is paying yourself first. But we took this a step further, wanting to take a biblical perspective on this, and what we do when our pay comes in is we'll look at the pay slip, see what our gross earnings are, and then tithe manually the 10% from that. Then what we've done is we've automated our savings and investments, so immediately before anything else comes out, we've got money going to our investments, our children's investments, and to our savings accounts. Automating these non-negotiables when you're on a low income can feel really tricky, but the thing is even $1 or $5 a week can save up over time, and it's really important to remember that for the majority of people as we're playing the long game. But there's this one verse that I really want to share, and it comes from Proverbs 3 verse 9 to 10. It says, "Honor the Lord with your wealth, then your barns will be filled." We automated our obedience, and it broke our fear cycle around money. That means we don't have to trust our emotions every week, we can trust our systems. Now, in the past, we foolishly took a very laissez affair to how we actually managed our finances. I think it's really easy when you're not earning a lot, or you've taken a step back, to just be like, oh, we'll just pay the rent, pay the utilities, and we'll just figure out the rest. If you're serious about managing your money, it doesn't matter if you're earning $1,000 a week or $5,000 a week. This one is absolutely crucial. Having routine financial check-ins helps us keep aligned and accountable. We have 3 relatively strict rhythms, and here's what they are. Every day what I do is I look at our bank statement, and I will reconcile all of those transactions into our spreadsheet. Then I'll pray over our finances, and that's basically it for the day. Then once a week, and we do this on my husband's paycheck, we will tithe first. We'll go over the last week of our spending, see where we're going over, see where we're going under, and because we're working on a zero-based budget, if we've got, I don't know, $20 left over, that $20 we're going to just throw it into our savings, and then we're going to start again from zero for the next week. Then at the end of the month, we will level up our weekly check-ins. What we'll do is we'll evaluate the entire last month that we've just finished. We're going to see where we did well, and we're going to celebrate those wins. We're going to highlight the areas of improvement, and then just recalibrate for the next month. But doing this every single month helps you to be really realistic, really on the ball, have your finger on the pulse, fingers on the pie, whatever, to make sure that your money is doing what you want to be doing. We also use this time to fill out a little meetings minute. We have a template schedule that we work with, which helps us kind of understand the psychology of money, of how we're feeling, any stresses, things that we're looking forward to, what are our next steps that we need to take, whether it's setting up a brokerage account, any big expenses that are coming out, for example, a driver's license renewal or a car registration. We'll conclude by praying, and I really want to level this up so that every time we do this, this becomes like our takeaway night, and we create this whole money date around it. We also take this time to update our family net worth, so all of our balances across our big financial assets such as our KiwiSavers, which is super in New Zealand, all of our investment brokerage account, a total of what's left on my student loan. Add that into the spreadsheet so every month we know how our net worth is growing. When it comes to managing our finances as a Christian couple focused on biblical principles, there are a lot of families where the husband will manage all the money, he's typically the breadwinner, and then the woman has a budget that she has for groceries or things for the children or whatever. But well, yes, my husband does earn the majority of our income. I spend the majority of his income. However, ensuring that we're on the same page is really important to us, making sure that we're working collectively towards our goals. And for us, this is marriage ministry in real time, because stewardship is a family calling. If you're watching this video, I'm going to assume that you're probably in a similar situation to us, where you're both equally involved in the running of the money. For us, our money meetings have been the catalyst for what have turned our marriage into us being a really strong financial team. Now, if you're living on a low income or a single income or want to, here are some really practical next steps that you can take. Step 1 is to download the Co Plenty budget template. I've got a discount code, I've linked it below. set it up tonight. Step 2, choose just one area that you want to cut down on. It might be your overheads with your power bill, it might be your grocery bill, it might be your water spend. Set that goal and just work towards that for the next 7 days. Number 3 is committing to automating your tithing, your saving and investing. Obviously for us, I promote doing a manual tithe, but if you're on salary, an automated tithing can be a really great way to start. And step 4 is to schedule a regular money check-in with your spouse, even if it's just 15 minutes. And remember, you're not failing, you're rebuilding, and God's not done with you yet. Over the last few months, we've been putting all of these changes into place, and it's been so exciting watching our savings and investments grow. And while doing this, our routines and our lifestyle hasn't been sacrificed. Prayer and biblical wisdom plays a huge role in this, and when we've been in times of lack, God has always provided for us. My prayer for you is that God would bless you with wisdom with how to manage your money well and grow your wealth in a way that honours both God and your family. If you'd like to see a breakdown of how we've set up our budget, click the video link below.